Hello, my name is Andy Zhang, and I will be taking you through our game Peddler on behalf of Studio C. Our game is about trading as peddlers or traveling merchants in medieval times. So the goal of the game is to gain more gold than other players within a set amount of turns by collecting resources and selling them. So as you can see here, our game contains a few different types of cards. We have our resource cards, our action and event cards, royal orders, which are objectives the player are encouraged to fulfill, player role cards, as well as market and location and resource production cards. So these cards are separated into three regions: central, northern, and western, as indicated on a map as well by color. The central region contains Perla, Aristine, Zerel, and Perto. And the western region contains Telpa, Blancard, and northern contains Eridon and Cerulean. So each region has their own market, which is indicated by the market card, with these D4 dices on them. Basically, these dices indicate how the local economy is doing. The first dice indicates whether the economy is going up or down, with odds being up and evens being down. So 1 here will mean the economy is doing good, and everything sells for 4 more gold. And it's the same for these. So 2 means down, down 2 means everything in central margin is worth 2 less. We also have our resource production points, which produces resources every round, but at different rates as the resources are worth different values. You're also able to craft items in our game. As you can see here on the bottom, you can craft special items which can only be used to fulfill royal orders. So as you can see, this royal order is planks. So you will be able to apply craft planks with 4 wood from Cerulia and sell it to the royal capital for gold. We also have a few other mechanics in our game, such as supply cards, which the players will have to exhaust at the end of every turn, and this is to prevent players from staying on the resource point forever and just collecting resources. There is also a hand limit to our players, with each player able to carry 10 resource cards uh, and 3 action cards. So, I will explain more about the game as we begin. This game is made for 1 to 4 players and those 18 and up. So let's get started. To start a game, first we need to grab our colors. I'll be white, and I'll grab also green, brown, and purple in this order. So now that we have assigned the 4 players their cards, we will roll dice to determine who goes first. So it would seem the one going first is white. So white will grab a roll card. Roll cards are publicly revealed. So white will be a haggler, which means they can sell for 1 more gold for the first 3 sales. Green will be a seer, which means they're able to peek at the next card after drawing every card. Orange is a thief, which begins with 3 attack cards you can grab here. Such. And lastly, purple, which is a gambler. Okay, and gamblers can reroll their dice 3 times this game. Perfect. And after drawing their roll cards, the players will decide their starting locations. As purple drew last, they'll decide first. Perfect. Now, let's start with the basic starting setup, the next step. Each player will get 5 gold to start. Here we're using poker chips. Just drop the 0 to make it 5. And everybody gets 50 gold. Perfect. Next, each player also begins with 3 supply cards, or else they'll starve to death. So, everyone gets 3 supply cards to start. Perfect. So, the player's action cards are usually hidden in their hands, but for the clarity of the demo, we'll be playing open hand. So, now we have given our players their gold and supplies. We may start the game. So as you can see, here is a turn counter. After each player has gone, we increase that counter by 1. Oop. Um, okay. Okay, it's hopefully gonna go away. Next, we'll start with our first player. The player's turn begins with a draw phase, and they will collect resources if there are any, which we are not. So we'll draw an action card. So this action card allows us to nullify another player's attack, so we'll keep it until a player attacks us, which is great because there is a thief in the game who has 3 attack cards to start. And I'm going to purchase a supply. You are able to purchase supplies from a city for 1 gold each. And it's not affected by the markets. Now I've done my actions and I will begin my rolling phase. I've unfortunately rolled a 1, so I'll move 1 space. And I end my turn. Same thing, we'll go ahead and draw a card. This action card is I gain 2 wheat. I'll save it for when I need it. And I will not buy a card, so I will go ahead and just roll. Oh, ignore that. Okay, so we rolled a 2. So we're up here. Go 1 and 2. So we want to go ahead towards the resource so we can collect money. And they'll generate at the end of the round. So next, we'll go ahead and... Oh, so we've got our first world event. World events are a permanent effect card that affects all players. As you can see, this world event Extra Wagon allows everyone to have their action card limit increased to 4. After drawing a world event, the player will draw another card, as the world events must be played. So here we have our first local event. Think of it as a trap card. You can place it on any city that you're currently on. This trap card will make the next player that enters the city lose 1 resource card. So all local events trigger on the next person that enters the city. So since I am on the city of Puerto, I will go ahead, flip this over as it's hidden, and assign it to Puerto, side here. Okay, next I'm going to roll my dice. I've got horrible luck today. And I will move 1. And our next player will draw another world event. So this one will now overwrite the other one we had. This one means all players do not need to expend supply cards at the end of the round. So yeah, each player can carry up to 10 cards as specified by their player card and 3 event cards, which is their hand. And they must exhaust a supply card at the end of each round when everybody's gone. And if you're unable to do so, you are unable to trade next turn and you move at half speed. But you are still able to purchase supply cards. So we're going to Draw another card to fulfill our world event. And this is an action card and gains on the next dice roll, which we will gladly use by discarding the card. And begin our roll. We roll 2, but we're actually going to use our gambler ability to reroll our dice again. Perfect. 6 plus 1 equals 7. So we can go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can go up to 7 spaces. You can go up to the amount of your room. You can also choose not to move if you like. Perfect. So now we've landed. Now the turn has ended as everybody's concluded their round. And now we'll go ahead and generate resources. So these resource cards generate 1 iron per round. The farm is 4 wheat. The ranch is 1 pelt. And the iron is 1 as well. So we'll go ahead and generate these resources. 4 wheat. So there's infinite number of resource cards. They will not run out. And like such. And each player needs to exhaust a supply card. But since we have the world event, we do not need to do so. At the start of the second round, we will begin our royal order, which is a plank. And make sure our market cards are reflected. Market cards are rerolled every 5 turns, but they're not changed for the first round. So you can see here we have -1 in northern markets, +3 in western markets, and +1 in central markets. So now that's the basic gist of the game. We'll play out a few more rounds just for demo purposes. So we'll draw. The victory condition currently is set to 10, 16, 20 turns. So the end of this 10, 16th, and 20th turn, depending on player count, is 2 to 4. And if you're playing by yourself, you can go as far as you want by collecting resources and see who has the most gold, not resources, at the end of the round. At the end of the game, sorry. So this is gains 2 wheat resources, which we're not going to use. So we're going to go ahead, because we're not anywhere, we're outside, we're going to just go and roll a dice. 4. And we're going to go to 1 to our wheat resource. Please note that you cannot pick up resources, as once you roll, that is the end of turn. Unless you're attacking another player. That's indicated here. And we'll go ahead to our next player. Another world event. Oh, wow. Must be getting lucky. This one allows every player to gain extra dice for rolling. So we will draw another card to fulfill. Perfect. That's a local event. And since we are here, we're going to now roll our dice. Because of the local event, we get 2 dices, which is 5. And we'll go ahead. 1, 2, 3. And arrive on iron in our turn. Same thing for this player. We'll just draw strong horse. I'm going to discard 1 action card and roll my dice. Oh, we should be getting another one as well. So we'll roll this one as well. We get 7. So we're gonna go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 onto our wood production point. Perfect. Next, getting a little tight here. We'll draw a card, which is a local event. Good. And we will roll. So we're purple. Actually, because we're on a production point, at the same time we draw, we'll take the resources from this production point, which is ranch 2. So now we have a pelt in our inventory. Perfect. And now I will roll, and I'm going to go off back to the city to sell my pelt. We rolled a 4, so that should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And I end my turn. So at the end of the turn, we start the turn counter up again, and each player will have to exhaust their resource as we've changed our world event. But luckily for purple, city cards have this effect where you only need to exhaust the supply every 2 turns while in the village. So your first turn is free. So now we'll go ahead and replenish the resources. Okay. So royal orders are objectives for the player where they have to bring a plank card to the royal capital in exchange for gold, for a lot more gold than they would have gotten selling it. So plank is made from for wood in a few cities, like such as Cerulean. So if a player gets 4 wood and convert it into a plank, they can bring it back to the capital for a very big payout. So since that is done, we can now begin our next turn. I'll draw a card. Oh, so we have our first negative road event. So all players must lose a resource. So since I don't have any, I'm okay. Any is okay. Any is okay. But our poor purple player is gonna have to lose the pellet that they just got. Now, since we are on wheat, we'll go ahead and draw. I believe this is farm 1. We'll grab all the wheat here. So we just escaped the bad card. So since we only have 10 inventory slots, I can only grab 7 wheat here. So you would normally expand it as such so other players can see what you're carrying, like this. So our inventory is full. Now, I want to get back to the city to sell it. So I'll roll my dice. Unfortunately, I rolled a 2, so I can only be right here. Okay, now go ahead and next player. They have drawn banditry, so this is a trap card as well, a local event. And we're on top of our mine 2, which will now take both the resources that is there. Perfect. And we're going to roll to try to go back to the city and sell our stuff. Ooh, only supposed to roll 1 die. 6. So we'll go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can sell next turn, but we can actually also craft armor here if we get a pelt. So now we'll go ahead to our next player. Player gains 5 gold, so I'll just use it because why not? And grab myself 5 gold. Or I can actually just duplicate this. Perfect. And as such, we will now go ahead and roll a die because, oh, actually, we are on wood 1, so we'll grab all the resources that is here. Like such. And we're going to also try to get into the city to make the plank. So, the cities that make planks are Cerulean and I believe Zerel, which we are right beside. We have rolled, that is still too many dices. We rolled a 4, so we'll go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4 right outside the city. Okay. And we're going to draw a card here. Perfect. And since we are on top of a city, we can choose to buy, but we don't have anything, and we weren't able to sell our pelt because we got screwed over. So we'll go ahead and actually buy 1 resource, 1 supply, because we go on journey, and roll our dice. So we've rolled a 5, so we'll actually just go right back. Perfect. Now everyone's turn has ended. We will all exhaust a supply card for those outside of a city, which should be everyone besides Brown. Yep. Oh no, this is Brown. Oops. Green. There we go. Okay. And we will go ahead and increase our resources. So there's a max cap of 10, even though that this should have been 12. So we'll go ahead and finish adding resources. Does get a little repetitive. Pelt. Okay. Now our next turn begins. So when this hits 5, we will be re-rolling our market cards. So now I'll begin my turn by drawing an action card. Nullify another attack. Perfect. We'll keep it. And we are so close to the city, so we'll roll. 6. We're actually going to go to the capital. So now we're in the capital. We end our turn. And the next player begins their turn. So now we have to get rid of some cards, but since we're sitting on a city, we're actually going to play them onto the city. Like such. So Porto and Eurodon has traps. And after we've played our card, we are in the city, so we will spend. We'll go ahead and actually sell our irons. So we're in the northern region, which means we'll look at the northern market, which is actually down 1 gold right now. So iron's only worth 9 gold. So in that case, we might want to keep it. But just to demonstrate for the game, we will sell it anyways. So this is 13. We need 18. So we'll receive 18 gold for selling our 2 irons into the city. So in Iridon, actually, we can also craft armor, but we don't have pellets, so we're not able to do so. Now we're gonna buy a few supply cards with our gold. We'll buy 2 supply cards. Perfect. And we'll start our roll. 2. So we'll go ahead and come over here and try to reach that pelt. And same thing goes for our player here, and we'll draw. So, since we are so close to city, we cannot steal, and we'll just discard our steals since we don't need 3 of them. We'll roll. 4, perfect. We can get into the city and end our turn there. And we're going to draw for our next player. Oh, a new world event. Let us read it. War tax. All players lose their iron resource. Also, we made a good choice selling there, and no one loses anything because no one has any iron right now. A new action card will be drawn. This one will be double supply cards on next purchase, which we will save up. Now, we are purple, so we will grab our resource from pelt 2, which is 2 pelts. Sorry. Well, not pelt 2, ranch 2. Grab our 2 pelts. Okay, and now we're going to go on our way back to our city to try to sell it. So we'll roll. 3, so we'll go 1, 2, 3. And that's an end turn. Turn on the counter. Everyone loses a supply card. That's not in the city, so that'll be, I think, everyone but green and me. So, lose a supply. Lose a supply. Perfect. And we will replenish our resources. Away, and 1 pelt will go here, and 1 pelt will go here. Duplicate the 1. So as you see, this infinite resources, that's why I'm duplicating. You will never run out of resource cards in life in this game. Okay, so we've done that. And we're on turn 4. So next turn, the markets will refresh. Now, I'll begin my turn by drawing an action card. a village raid. Player loses 2 resource cards on enter. So I'm actually going to put that on the capital. Right here. So whoever is going in to deliver this stuff is not gonna have a good time. Now we'll go ahead and I believe sell all of our wheat. So it is up 1, so our wheat is double the value. So as you can see here, it sells for 2 gold now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We just made 14 gold. 14 gold. Perfect. Now we're gonna buy some supplies. And get out of the city by rolling 2. So actually head over here. Next player. Draw a card. Oh, that's pretty good. We'll keep it for now. And since we are now aware, we will roll. 1. That is unfortunate. We'll keep moving this way. And our next player with 4 wood. So as you can see, we are in Zero, which has the ability, which actually we need to draw our first card. So our redraw. We will apply this trap card to 0. And as we're in 0, we can convert 4 wood to plank once around. So you can only craft once around. So we will craft 4 wood. Yeah, oops. In you go. Into a plank. Because we're 50 gold. Delivered, I believe, if the roll decrease at so. Yes. Perfect. So now we're gonna try to move it back to the capital. We've rolled a 6. So we're actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as I enter the capital, I reveal the trap card, which is I lose 2 resource cards, which I do not have. So we are okay. So resource cards are only these guys. They do not, it does not, oops, this needs to go inside of the bag. I'll just delete them. They do not affect the special cards here. So now we've arrived in capital. We can wait for the next round to do that, unless somebody steals it from me. So our next player will begin. Flip their card. Action. Your next dice roll is doubled. So we will do just such. And roll our dice. Roll a 5, so we're able to move 10 spaces. So we have pelt. Well, actually, I want to make some armor, so I'm going to start moving towards north. 9 onto iron 2. Perfect. And end my turn. Turn counter starts. So once this happens, it hits 5, we will reroll all of our markets. So now Northern is up 1, Western is down 2, Central is up 2. So this only affects when you're selling. We will replenish our resource cards. The wheats are capped. So is this one. And iron is still being generated. So now we've done that. We've done this. Yep. Everyone exhausts their resource cards. Green is on, so we don't need to do. I need to exhaust 1 here. Purple needs to exhaust 1. Or brown needs to exhaust 1. Perfect. So now I begin my turn. I'm gonna draw a card. Uh-oh, a world event. High winds. All players subtract 2 from the dice roll. So if I would use my attack card, but I'm too far from him, so I must wait. And now we must roll our card, roll our dice because we got nowhere to go but a capital. We're not moving because of high winds. We're staying still. Next player. Oh, shoot. Oh, we're supposed to draw a card here. Oh, which actually overrides this. Add one to the dice roll. Oh, so I can actually move on to the capital. Okay. Just gotta keep drawing until I draw. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, I'm not moving. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. Draw again. Okay, there we go. There we go. And then I will use this action card to gain 2 resources. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to do this beforehand. There. Our next player. Our card. One time I'm gonna steal one from our opponent's inventory. So, orange, we cannot do that. We will actually go ahead and just gain 2 wheat resources because we at maximum cards like such, and we're going to move 3. You're gonna go into a city. Perfect, because we're running out of resource cards. And here comes our big major action. So we draw an action. You can defend from a player attack. Your next row is doubled. I'll use the one where my next row is doubled. So now I can fulfill the royal order. Thanks. So by doing so, the royal order is fulfilled. I gain 50 gold. And a new royal order is revealed, which is now tools. Oh, this should be discarded. Perfect. So now I'm going to buy a few resource cards, 3 of them. And roll my dice. 3. But since the world events, in fact, I can only move 2, so I'll move towards this pelt generation. So this is the basic gist of the game. I don't think I should go any further because this video will become way too long. But yeah, the game ends when you reach 1620, and I believe 10, 16, 20 turns, based on how much players you have, and whoever has the most gold, not other cards. So this would be 160, 210. So it'll be 210 who, yeah, 210 who has won the game. Not this guy, even though he fulfilled the order because he didn't get lucky. But yeah, that is our game. And thank you for watching.